Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck. Welcome to this World's Strictest Parents reaction video called The Power of a Hug. In this video, we are going to be seeing the transformation of one of the youth that came to my home during my filming of The World's Strictest Parents. As a person who teaches all over the world about parenting and is renowned in every continent at this point, I can tell you hugs are absolutely powerful. In fact, there was a moment in our episode of The World's Strictest Parents when a hug brought James, the 17-year-old who had come to stay in our home, back to reality. And in this video, we're going to show that hug, but also show where he was at before and why that was, and then what happened to him after that hug. Do you realize how powerful your hugs to your children and each other really are? All right, in this video, what you're seeing is a time where James is reading a letter from his mother. So his mother wrote a letter and sent it with the BBC camera crew before he came to our home. So this was something that they just did with each child that went to live with one of the world's strictest parents, aka me, I guess. Anyway, and they had them take this time to reflect on their own families. Now, this was a time that really was healing. It hurt, it brought tears for both Hannah and James as they read over these letters. But it also was a time being away from home where they could take a good look, take an assessment of their own behaviors, and see if what they were doing was really going to get them the outcomes that they wanted, especially now that they saw a family that had different outcomes. So this was supposed to bring them back to their roots at home, and you see it really is a moving experience for James. Let's take a look.
Obviously you knew that things needed to change. We couldn't carry on it the way it was. I think it's very brave of you to do this. Be strong, son, as I know you are. I'm looking forward to a new start when you quit getting the weeks more.
I always get a little choked up when I see that. James is such a special, well, he's a man, but such a special boy in my heart. And as I watched him read the words of his mother in this video, because I wasn't in the room when that happened, it was just him and the camera crew sitting in the room, it really touched me. It touched me to see how much love he had for his mother and for his family, even though things were kind of rocky before he came to my house. In fact, I had heard that things really weren't that great and their relationship was struggling a bit. And this experience changed all that for him, actually. And I'll talk about that in a different reaction video, but he really has an appreciation for his mom. And you can see it here, even though he isn't doing everything perfect. And I love how his mother is saying, hey, we can have a new start. It's never too late, right? In fact, that's what every mom and dad should always say. We can always have a new start. It's never too late, because that is a truth. We're never done in this world, no matter what kinds of things happen to us along the way. Let's look at this next part and see how James feels about this situation.
She's been there for me my whole life. She's been a single mom. And she's just worked so goddamn hard is. And all I've done is water total hope for her. And put it back in her face when she's not deserved it.
He's really doing some good analysis here, which is the gateway to freedom. If you can analyze yourself and be honest with yourself, then you can change. And he's doing it. He's allowing himself to see his own flaws. He's saying, she's given me everything. She's a single mom and I've just walked all over her. I haven't been good to her. She's given me her best and I have not. And he said, this is powerful for a young person to notice this about themselves and about their families. It's a liberating moment, even though it's coming with tears. This moment had an impact on James for the long run, but also in the minute he ended up getting a little bit worked up. We are now going to see James having some other emotions happening, some anxiety and stuff like that, and how we handle that.
Hannah is all set for the evening. With only an hour left to the gala, James has let his emotions get the better of him.
You know,
he's a bit upset, and I thought if I can try and comfort him, then he can try and at least get dressed and make it to the party tonight.
So here's Hannah mothering James. I love that because she is a mother. She's got a 10-month-old baby at this point. She now is a mother of more children than that and has really made quite a life for herself. Anyway, she is mothering him. She's nurturing him, and she's like, oh, it's gonna be okay. She's trying to comfort him. He's got some anxiety and some worries, and he's just getting a little bit down on himself, which could happen to anybody, you know, and he's been away from home now for multiple days. It's getting near the end of their stay at our house, and he is starting to struggle a little bit with missing home and probably feeling a little tired. I mean, they've been jet lagged through this whole thing and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it's just kind of hitting a point right now, coming to a head, and sweet little Hannah is trying to help him. And I absolutely love that. His emotions really start to get the better of him now, though. This is just the beginning. He's crying, he's worried, he's down. He's not even 100% sure why, but soon it starts to go out of control. And we'll talk about why that is in just a minute.
At some point really soon, you've got to just take a breath, okay? Because I can't bring somebody in there that's all upset.
Stop talking to me like you're my mum, okay? You're not my mum. I've got one mum.
But
that's
tonight...
it. Don't talk to me like your mum, alright?
Okay.
That's one thing you need to stop doing, is talking to me like you're my mum. Because don't. Because it's upsetting me even more, because I've got one mum.
Okay. Poor James. He definitely is feeling homesick right now, and he is feeling a lot of anxiety surging. Okay, so he did struggle with that a little bit, and there are reasons for that. You know, if you'll remember, if you've seen some of the other reaction videos, that James had been smoking from the time he was a young boy. And so he hasn't had cigarettes now for a few days. I mean, he is not drinking. He's not doing anything chemically at this point to, you know, take his mind off of the issues that are going on inside of him. And this is very unusual for him. He doesn't exactly know how to handle this. And so I'm telling him, okay, we need to take a breath. And he's like, listen, you're not my mom. And he just didn't want to hear anybody. He wanted help, but he didn't, you know, at the same time. And he was feeling very disconnected. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing him be disconnected from us, or trying to be disconnected from us. Because if he maintains disconnection, he can maintain his anger and frustration and create more of a dramatic scene for himself. Not that he necessarily wants drama, but he's just used to it. It's a habit. He's almost addicted to having drama run the different moments of his life, and then feeling like he bottoms out and having to go to some sort of chemical or substance or something like that. But in this case, we're not presenting that as an option, and he's not necessarily asking for it either. He's recognized now that he's addicted, and he wants to stop being addicted. And so he's trying to be strong right here, but he's also really anxious, and he's catering to it, and he's starting to implode. Before we see the power of a hug, I would love to see your comments about what you feel about this situation. So we all get frustrated sometimes. We all get down sometimes. Maybe some people have depression even, or something like that. What are some experiences that you've had that you can relate to James? You know, he's really going through a lot right now. We're trying to help him, but he just doesn't want to be helped. But that changes in a minute. Go ahead and comment below, and let's get going on this next clip.
Everyone gets upset. Everyone gets mad. And there's times you want to punch a hole in the wall. But if you can master your emotions and get over the selfishness, then you've conquered a lot. And hopefully James will conquer that.
Okay, so there's some words of wisdom from Spencer. So Spencer's saying, I get it. I understand. Sometimes you're mad. Sometimes you feel like if I hit something, it would be better. But that's not the only way to solve a problem. In fact, it doesn't solve problems. And he's saying, I know that he can do this. I think he'll be able to work through this and conquer this. We also see Hannah there still mothering James. So sweet, you know, trying to make him feel better, trying to help him get ready. She's like, if I could just make his life easier. Now, here's the thing that is very interesting about this. And this is a very common thing. When somebody gets frustrated or upset, people start coddling and mothering, you know, a lot like that, you know, kind of over nurturing and not helping a person actually handle the problem they're dealing struggling with. So she knows he needs to feel her love, but she doesn't know what he needs beyond that. And we do know he needs to know he has the power to control what's happening, and he needs love at the same time. And so Spencer's showing that we care. I'm trying to show that we care. And now we see that he really can get the message of how much we care, and he can make the decision to make a shift for himself. This is by far one of my favorite parts of this show.
I'm just stressed out, I'm tired.
I know you're
I need a
stressed out.
fag, and I'm really upset at the minute, I don't know why.
Can you hug me? James?
Okay, so we hear James, and he says, I'm really stressed out. I'm really tired. I need a fag, because that's a cigarette. He wants a cigarette. And he's like, there's a lot of stuff that are happening. And so he's used to looking for the excuses or the reasons why he's feeling a certain way, but he's not used to looking for the real solution that lies on the inside. And so we're going to help him with that. But I just knew right in that minute, this boy needs to know I am here for him. He needs to know how much I love him. And I just felt like we've just got a hug. And so I said, give me a hug. And even though he was so frustrated and anxious and overwhelmed at the time, he just followed that instruction and he just came into my arms and we just hugged. And it really was a beautiful moment. A moment where my love for him just only grew, and he knew and he could feel that I wanted the best for him, and I was going to help him, and I was going to lead him in the direction he wanted to go. He was at the door. Do you see him at the door? He's at the door because he's going to run away, because that's his MO. You know, always run away. When there's a problem, I run away and maybe go try to find a cigarette or something, or a drug or something. But he doesn't have to do that now, not if we can hug and talk about it. And that's what we do. So take a look at this.
Do you know I want you there? Do you know that? I want you sitting beside me so that I can be proud of you. Do you know that? I do.
So I knew I needed to tell him the truth. Here we were touching each other. And when you touch another person and you can feel their love, that is powerful. I mean, it really does come through your whole being. That's why children are so soothed when they're in their parents' arms. But I knew he needed to know the truth. The truth was, I know you can do this. I know you can be calm, and he needed to hear it in my voice. And so for me to say, I want you to be there. I want this experience to happen for you. I want you to have this great time. I don't want you to ruin it for yourself. And I was really putting that weight back on him, like, you've got to choose not to have a problem. Otherwise, this experience isn't going to happen for you. Do you realize that? But then also recognize that I knew he could do it. I trusted that he was completely able to calm himself down if he chose it. That hug brought that truth to light. And he knew I was on his side. We weren't against each other. He never, thought I was, except for the time where he was saying I wasn't his mother. But he knew that he could accept my help because it was from a place of love. Sometimes we need a hug. Sometimes when our children are struggling, we give them a hug and then we talk about it. That's important. They need to know that who they are to us is more important than anything they'll ever do, or any word that they'll ever say. That is good parenting. So let's look at this next bit where we discuss a little bit more about what's coming.
But I need you to respect me. I need you to be the boy that I'm proud of tonight. You've got to be on my team, or I can't take you. You've got to promise to me right now that you'll do that. Otherwise, I don't even want to get you there.
So I knew I couldn't take him in that condition. And it was time to go. I didn't want him to miss. I wanted him to be able to come, but if he couldn't get himself calmed down, I knew that because I am a consistent parent and because I follow principle in my parenting, that I'm not going to bring an out-of-control person to an event where other people are going to be around and it's going to cause frustration for other people. So he had to get calm. But I was proud of who he was, and I wanted him to know that. I was proud of him. He took out his lip piercing. He wanted to be respectable that night. It was an important night. And he wanted to show that he was fit for the occasion. And I wanted to show him that no matter who he was, lip piercing or not or whatever, because that's not really what I care about, that I loved him and that I valued him and that I wanted him by my side. I wanted to show him off to my friends. And I gave him some instructions of things that he needed to do. Let's finish this section.
Because it would be just more disappointment if I say you can't come in because you're still all uptight. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
You look great. Thank you. Okay?
Okay, so I'm explaining to him that if he's all uptight, I can't take him. And I asked him if he'd be able to do it. And he actually took a breath, got calm. He said, yeah, I can do it. He made a decision right there. As we were hugging and as we were talking to each other, he made a decision. And I told him he looked great because that was his big anxiety. He didn't think he looked good. And he didn't want to go somewhere not looking good because he always took a lot of pride in his appearance. And in the end, I told him, listen, you look great. And really, that's not the most important part about James. And I hope he got that from that hug, from that moment, from our short talk. And of course, there was more talk that happened afterward that is not on camera here. But he saw it, hopefully, that it's not about what he looks like or how he dresses or whether he has piercings or no piercings or whatever it is, that he is valuable. And I think that's what a hug shows to people. This is really how valuable they are to you. Did you like this about the hug? This is so touching. I have a hard time keeping the tears away. I know that you're probably just wiping yours away too, but there is another video you are going to want to watch, and it does bring a few tears. It's called A Tight-Knit Family, World's Strictest Parents Reaction Video. Click on that link now, and you'll see another pretty emotional experience that happened in our program.